This video is sponsored by War Thunder. Alrighty, it's about that time again. So I noticed that there was a startling shortage of Classic Plus videos on the internet today, and I decided that I would rectify things with another one here for you. The focus of this one's going to be my manifesto, my thesis on why I think most signs are pointing towards an announcement at this year's BlizzCon, which is occurring in September. But to be serious, I did do a search for something along these lines, and I couldn't find anything as autistic as what I'm about to provide for you. So it might actually have some new information that you maybe haven't considered, or at least information that, when it's all put together, tells an interesting story. Before we get into it though, I would like to take a moment to thank the sponsor of this video, War Thunder. War Thunder is one of the most complete vehicle combat games ever made, and it's available right now for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile. I like doing sponsors for it because I've actually played it on and off throughout the years. It's always a fun game to just pick up and play. There are over 2,500 vehicles across tanks, planes, helicopters, and ships from 10 major nations, covering everything from early biplanes and armored cars from the 1920s all the way to modern fighter jets and main battle tanks. So whether you're into old school military history or modern armored warfare, there's probably something there for you. It's built around intense PvP with detailed vehicles, realistic visuals, and authentic sound design, with a worldwide community of over 95 million players, so there are always huge battles to jump into. It's quite detailed, with every vehicle being modeled down to its individual parts, such as engines, fuel tanks, weapons, ammo racks, crew, and more. Enemy fire can disable these specific components and knock out your crew members, ignite your fuel, damage your weapons, or cripple your mobility. And learning is made easy with your X-ray view, which lets you see where your shots penetrated, what components were hit, and what caused the final destruction of the vehicle. So there's a lot of depth to be had, and not just with its gameplay, but also things like vehicle customization with camouflages, decorations, and also community-created cosmetics. So check it out today for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile by using my links in the pinned comment or video description. New players and returning players on PC and consoles who haven't played in at least 6 months will also receive the massive bonus pack when signing up through my link. This includes multiple premium vehicles, the exclusive vehicle decorator, the Eagle of Valor. You get 100,000 Silver Lions and 7 days of premium account. It's available for a limited time, so check it out today. Anyways, so Classic Plus, it is quite the enigma. Most everyone knows what it is, and yet still, no one can agree on what it is, or when it'll be out. Will it be good or bad? It's probably one of the most defined, undefinable products in the history of gaming, but I'll try my best to compile all of the most common things that you see about it. So Classic Plus is mostly generalized with the idea of the original base game, vanilla, after its final 1.12 patch. Instead of going through the Dark Portal, like in the Burning Crusade expansion and similar ones after it, the game instead continues on in the old world, in the Eastern Kingdoms and Kalimdor. New content is then added that follows the spirit and design of the original base vanilla version of the game, with new raids, dungeons, class balance changes, zones, and even things such as new classes, specializations, professions, and other similar features in line with classic MMORPG game design. So as you probably know, when Classic 2019 Vanilla ended in 2021, Blizzard instead opted for the safer route of just going down the list of expansions released in their original chronological order, with similar phasing schedules to roughly match their releases. And as of today, they've reached all the way to the Mists of Pandaria expansion, and that's all well and good, but considering that for many people the end of the classic version of the game ended in Cataclysm, it's left quite a big discrepancy with what these players want and what Blizzard is providing, with many even turning to the independently run private servers to fill in that void, as was evidenced with the almost overwhelming popularity of the Turtle WoW server, which just recently announced its shutdown after a legal battle with Blizzard. Blizzard has flirted with the idea of Classic Plus, with the closest to date being their seasonal servers. First you had the Season of Mastery, which made various raid balance changes to increase the overall difficulty of the PvE portion of the game, which a certain amount of the player base were disappointed with in the 2019 run. Following that, There's the more intense Season of Discovery, which held quite a few changes, but the most notable being the rune system, which changed the class balance and their functionality in quite drastic ways. There were some other things such as progressive level caps, and near the end some pretty popular requests within the realm of Classic Plus, such as a new Scarlet Monastery raid, as well as a quest line for the legendary Ashbringer. Overall, it was kind of a mixed bag, and people were pretty split on it, with some people loving it and some people really disliking it. So there's been a large demand for it for quite a few years now, and certainly a lot of frustration, especially with Blizzard not providing it, and also now shutting down the actual Classic Plus Turtle WoW. If you look in the comments of this video, most likely people are not going to have a very fond opinion of Blizzard, but whatever you think of them, the point of this video is to just give you the information of why I think there's a 99% chance that it's probably going to be announced at BlizzCon, at least in some capacity. So starting here first with some older information, and that's the survey. Several months ago, Blizzard started sending out surveys to players, which requested for them to not share them publicly, but because it's the internet, of course, that's the first thing they did. It held a variety of questions, many of them relating to typical features and elements related to Classic Plus. This is something that we didn't actually cover previously, but what makes it relevant to this video is that despite its age, none of these features have been seen in any version of Classic, despite it having like 5 different versions at this point. So all of the information that they've gotten from this survey has yet to be utilized in any public way. So maybe they're just doing nothing with it, or maybe they're using it to guide them with this currently theoretical Classic Plus. Next we have the 2025 Blizzard Yearbook, which details some milestones for the various games. In this yearbook is of course a section about Classic, which reads, Season of Discovery wound down with a bang in the Scarlet Enclave. This was the Scarlet Crusade raid I mentioned, as we got cooking on the long-term future of World of Warcraft Classic, eyes emoji, and just below that are a series of plus signs. Now if you're in the Elder Scrolls trailer analysis community, this alone is probably at least a 4-hour video, but due to the large Classic Plus-sized elephant in the room, and this following a snippet about the Season of Discovery, which is Blizzard's closest thing to Classic Plus so far, many people see this as a tease for an official Classic Plus, which I think is reasonable. Throughout the development and run of Season of Discovery, if you notice, the developer said many times that the whole thing was an experiment and they wanted to see what worked and what didn't work. Quoting the team directly in this blue post, we have Season of Discovery was always meant to be an ephemeral seasonal experience, and while it became so much more for a time, we're extremely excited about the things we're working on for the future. So the thought process here being that the reason for an experiment is to gain information for a bigger project. So I take this as the Season of Discovery, especially due to its eventual end date, was just this testing ground for a more solid foundation for presumably an unending Classic Plus version of the game. Assuming that this is true, this could even give you a rough idea of what their version of Classic Plus could be based on the feedback of Season of Discovery. You know, what did players generally like and dislike about the season? That itself is up for debate and would set this video way off focus, so I'll just leave that for you to argue about in the comments. Next up we have the 2026 State of Azeroth. This is a new thing they're doing, I guess. It's kind of like a mini preview of what's coming up in the year for all forms of World of Warcraft, Classic included. And while the 2026 version was more focused around housing in retail WoW, now they're adding a 7th form of monetization to the game. Yes, I counted. They did also have this weird mention / tease of Classic that's, well, I mean, I'll just play it here for you.
And that's not all we're cooking up. I can say with confidence that all Classic players across the globe have a lot to look forward to. I'm really excited to announce that... I guess we'll save that for later.
Did you get that? We'll play it again.
I'm really excited to announce that...
One more time.
I'm really excited to announce that...
Yeah, I have no fucking idea. It's Holly something. But yeah, this was the big tease. So, a rational person would say they wouldn't blue ball the players unless it's something really big, right? And obviously the biggest thing that they could do is Classic Plus, without a doubt. But hold on. This is Blizzard Entertainment, who, aside from the Cosby Suite, are entirely out of touch with their player base. At this point, there's been quite a rich history of them hyping something up, and then it turns out to be a mobile Diablo game or some shit.
We'd also like to let you know that the forges here at Blizzard are burning hot, and we have multiple Diablo projects in the works.
3 weeks later.
The current plan is to be on mobile, both Android and iOS. We don't have any plans at the moment to do PC.
Yep, that's me. You're probably wondering how I ended up in this situation.
Do you guys not have phones?
Yeah, you guys all have phones, right?
Yeah, remember that shit? Oh, we got some big news for you Diablo fans. Fucking Netflix series that never saw the light of day and the raping of your childhood. So, this could go either way. If Blizzard were normal, this could be taken as a clear tease for Classic Plus, but as we know, they're not normal. Next, we have the Agrind post. Early this year in January, Agrind announced his diminished involvement with the 2019 line of Classic, which again is in Pandaria, as well as Anniversary, which is now in the Burning Crusade with level boosts, and likely soon the WoW token. Told you so, by the way, just in case you forgot, because I definitely didn't. But in the same post, he announced his change from production to design, and that he's working on the future of Classic. But if that future isn't Anniversary or the 2019 line, what could it be? That leaves only a new project, and some people conclude that what new project could it be other than Classic Plus? And lastly, we have a repetition of history. Earlier we talked about the shutdown of Turtle WoW, a popular private server dedicated to Classic Plus content. It's overall been very highly received, and because of that it became quite popular, and because it became popular it pinged Blizzard's radar, leading to the lawsuit and upcoming shutdown. And I mention this because of two things. One, in the terms of the lawsuit, Blizzard wanted all the data and everything to do with the project, and two, we have a fairly similar situation to the Nostalgia shutdown leading to Classic 2019. So this is just about 10 years ago now, but there was once a private server named Nostalrius that was just simply a vanilla private server. It was the old version of the game as closely as they could recreate it, and it was run pretty well by an independent group of people. It was fairly stable, and combine that with the fact that Blizzard was still adamantly refusing that anybody actually wanted to play it, it became quite popular, and just like Turtle WoW, popular enough that they would become a threat to Blizzard's player base and IP, and so they sent a cease and desist, which they did end up complying to. However, they did also send an invitation to their offices in California, where they had a chat relating to vanilla World of Warcraft in some capacity. Then, in the next year's BlizzCon, in November of 2017, the announcement of Classic 2019 was made. That ran all the way until 2021, at which point they released level boosts, which is when this highly attractive and intelligent YouTube channel named MadSeasonShow predicted the later release of the WoW token, which a portion of the player base adamantly refuted, and that Blizzard would never do such a thing in a million years, at which point the WoW token was later released, and then all of these people disappeared into the fucking bush like Homer J. Simpson. But the point here obviously being that there has been a precedent of Blizzard shutting down a popular private server shortly before announcing their own similar server. So, Nostalgia shut down in 2016, 2017, the Classic announcement, which could precede the Turtle shutdown in 2026, followed with the Classic Plus announcement. Regarding the data, I personally don't know about this one, but some people believe it, so I still wanted to at least mention it. But some people think because Blizzard is getting all of the data of the various features of Turtle WoW, that they're just going to copy-paste it. I don't believe this for two reasons. One, first being, I highly doubt it would be that simple. As far as I understand, Turtle WoW's foundation was 1.12 Vanilla WoW, which was the old client that Blizzard has said in the past that they can't go back to because it has all of these old security vulnerabilities and other various exploits. And number two, I think, is that they're probably just pretty set on doing their own thing. It would kind of be a blow to their ego to just copy-paste a private server. So, I don't know. I just have my doubts in that regard. But I still wanted to mention it because some people have brought it up. So we have Classic Plus surveys, Season of Discovery experiment, the yearbook tease, the 2026 State of Azeroth weird tease thing, cryptic developer blogs, private server, precedents. Of course, there's nothing rock solid yet, but I do believe that there is enough information all pointing towards one thing. To me, the most convincing sign is the eyes emoji with the plus signs. I highly doubt that's coincidental. So I personally would be pretty surprised if they didn't announce it at this year's BlizzCon, especially since they teased it so much in various different ways. Unless, they're maybe going to do another Netflix series that will never materialize, or a mobile version of Classic that's monetized in borderline illegal ways, which would still be entertaining, so it's a win-win in my book. So this all just leaves one question. Will it be good? Is it going to be Classic Plus or Turtle Minus, as my friend Clubs likes to put it? Again, if you scroll down, you'll probably find the general sentiment in the comments. People, for some inexplicable, totally unreasonable reason, have lost faith in Blizzard. I'm not really sure why. I think that they're personally doing a bang-up job. I mean, just look at the impeccable quality of content they've been putting out.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
Maybe if they add an 8th form of monetization, they could surpass the One Punch Man levels of animation. The unalienable fact is that it has the potential to be good, which was shown quite well with Turtle WoW, of course. So that leaves the actual question of, is Blizzard able to realize that potential, which we'll have to see. I do think that it will be pretty heavily monetized. I don't really think there's any way of getting around that. It's just kind of the culture of the company now. Jeff Kaplan actually came out and spilled the tea with a lot of the background shenanigans that went on with Blizzard at the time of his departure. Surely you know him. This is Mr. Tiggle Biddies himself, longtime World of Warcraft developer and the father of Overwatch. Overwatch was pretty much his baby, and he shared a story recently of their CFO, their chief financial officer, bringing him into his office and saying, okay, you need to hit these profit margins or people are going to be fired, and it's going to be your fault that they're going to be fired.
For me, like what sort of ultimately broke me in my Blizzard career was I got called in the CFO's office, and he sits me down and he says, he gives me a date, which at the time was 2020 and was going to slip to 2021, but at the time it was 2020. And he said, Overwatch has to make in 2020. And then every year after that, it needs a recurring revenue. And then he says to me, if it doesn't do dollars, we're going to lay off 1,000 people, and that's going to be on you. And that was just the biggest fuck you moment I had in my career. It felt surreal to be in that condition. And as somebody who's worked on a lot of games, made a lot of games, you get in these meetings where they're like, Fortnite has 1,400 people working on it. If you just hire 1,400 people and make it free to play, we'll make that money, right? And that was, I had believed I would never work anyplace but Blizzard. I loved it. It was a part of who I was. And I felt I was a part of it. And I literally thought I would retire from the place. I never thought the day would come.
That particular CFO is no longer working at Blizzard, but I do believe that this is sort of what lies at the core of the company today. It's just this sort of brutal corporate atmosphere that really stifles any sort of creative integrity.
Hey, you! Stop bullying the multi-billion-dollar company!
So, along with the Classic Plus announcement, I am also expecting level boosts, WoW tokens, other similar forms of monetization. Probably not at launch, but most likely in the months following the launch, which I think is just something that you're going to have to accept if you want to play it, is my prediction. People have been asking if I'll play it. I don't know. I haven't actually played in over a year. Ever since I got into OSRS, it's been more than enough for me, but I've kind of grown to accept that I wouldn't be able to resist the heroin unless it just looks really terrible. But yeah, we'll see. No promises either way. Thanks again to the sponsor of this video, War Thunder. Play for free today on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, and mobile by using my link in the description or pinned comment, and claim the massive bonus pack for multiple premium vehicles and the exclusive vehicle decorator. But other than that, thanks for watching. Like the video if you liked it, because I'll see you in the next one. Peace.
Farewell for now, mortals. We hope you enjoyed today's video. See you again soon.